Hello everyone, this is part 32 of What If Naruto Failed and Chose a Different Path, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Naruto was having a good week being a Chunin ninja, seeing more and more people were giving him signs of respect rather than hateful glares. Of course the glares from the more arrogant villagers and ninja were still there whether he wanted them to be or not. By now though, Naruto didn't care about the glares or their ever so silent tongues along with their moving mouths. Each one of them that whispered, demon, hellspawn, and such at him wherever he walked, almost wanting to spit on the very ground he walked on as if tainted. They were empty threats and voices that had no power over him that they used to when he was younger. He had gone with Mogi right after the incident with Mace to see the retired, but still a book-reading pervert of a third Hokage. The old man was now at his clan's estate with the other Sarutobis doing things from training to daily chores. When Naruto confronted his grandfather, he appeared to be reading a history book, but from the blush slowly leaving his cheeks Naruto knew the man was really reading his Ica Paradise book. When Sarutobi heard what Mei said about Naruto out loud to Naruto while Mogi was listening, he explained to her that he was not Slade himself, just the living prison of him. It was then that the old monkey master decided to take up where Naruto left off, knowing the girl would listen, seeing how with his increased age was wisdom and understanding. He explained to the young girl about the law he set in place to protect the boy and how it only succeeded halfway, partly through his fault and in some way Konoha in general. Naruto remembered how he and the retired Kage smiled at Moeji's expression when she learned how Kyuubi was really demon lord named Slade. The poor girl's eyes nearly went the size of bowls when she learned that the Slade was in fact friends with the fourth Hokage. The two were impressed how the girl seemed to understand how the attack was unintentional due to the unstable genjutsu performed on Slade, as she had been studying them more than anyone her age. One day she'll turn into another Yuhi Kurenai, though I would have to have her at least learn more than basic taijutsu and ninjutsu so she is not dependent solely on that subject of the ninja world, thought Naruto, knowing that after that day, the girl gave him even more respect than before. However, as much as everything was turning out smoothly, Naruto couldn't help but mentally frown at the altercation he had with the arrogant Uchiha. It happened just 2 days ago and it had made him see Sasuke as a potential threat to Konoha that may have to be removed. Flashback 2 days ago, Konoha Hospital. Naruto was coming in for his yearly checkup, now being done by Tsunade, who, having read the boy's file, wanted to do the examination personally. She needed to see if anything had been misplaced by the incompetent fools, who had healed the boy during his ever so darker days in this place. Naruto had told her that his bottom half was fine, seeing as Slade always made sure that was healed first should he have to make a break for it during or after his visits here. She had taken his word for it on the ground he was probably still embarrassed to see him in his, from what Tsunade heard from Hinata and Haku, boxes, and just did several other examinations of his well-muscled upper body. Tsunade was carefully trying to see if there was even the slightest bone splinter or damaged tissue. It wasn't that she didn't trust the nine-tailed demon lord, but as a doctor and Hokage that was trying to protect someone who was precious to her, Tsunade only trusted in such things if they were done herself. Naruto sensed Tsunade grimace, as did he when his body had involuntarily flinched at the gentle touch as she examined him. Though his brain knew he could trust her with his life, the mind of his own body had too many painful experiences to just let the good old hag of a doctor out if Hokage be embraced by her touch. Sorry. My body has a mind of its own, said Naruto in a near whisper, making Tsunade's heart feel strained when he said this. It's all right, Naruto, you don't have to apologize. Your body is just reacting on its own to the unfamiliar touch from a doctor in an all too familiar room that it has suffered in, said an almost as quiet Tsunade, as she could almost picture the scars he had when he was less than half his current age. While examining him, had Slade not healed him all those times? When it was done, Naruto gave a curt bow, knowing there was no room for humor in this room, as it had never been one for him. He left the room wearing his black baggy pants, with his right leg sporting an extra large kunai holster, and for his upper body was a well-designed sleeveless blood-red muscle shirt with a dark insignia of a crazed demon's head along the chest area, looking pretty angry. It had the words, "Go ahead and try something, your soul already belongs to me anyway," written on the back, so when people turned their heads to face him they would be freaked out. As soon as he shut the door behind him, his shadow clone that had been holding his sword handed it back to him before going, poof, seeing how its task was complete. On Naruto's way out he saw Sasuke brooding against a wall before staring at him with hate-filled eyes. "I see the great and all-powerful Uchiha Sasuke graces me with his presence. To what do I owe the displeasure?" said Naruto, as he scowled while showing his fanged teeth at the ninja in front of him. "I want you to fight me, loser. Fight me seriously so when I beat you I can prove that I am and always will be your superior. Just like all the Uchihas in my clan were before me," said Sasuke, removing his body from the wall, still staring at Naruto with hate-filled eyes. "I think Itachi would disagree with that statement if he were here with us," said Naruto, knowing the very mention of Sasuke's older brother was more than enough to send the so-called Avenger into a realm of hate that only darkness could love. "Whatever. Just follow me to roof and fight me," said Sasuke, walking towards the hospital steps that lead to the roof with me a few feet behind him. Minutes later on the roof, all Naruto and Sasuke did was stare right at each other with hate or boredom in their eyes. "I don't know why you are so angry, Sasuke. Just because you were born an Uchiha doesn't make you better than others," said Naruto, though he knew it wouldn't do any good knowing the Uchiha wouldn't listen. "Not better, you loser. We Uchiha are superior to everyone and anyone. Even the Hyuga clan, despite their all-seeing eyes, are nothing compared to the Uchiha clan. By defeating you I prove that the Uchiha clan is superior to you and your weakling of a father that is the former Hokage," said Sasuke, making Naruto have a scowl on his own face, as he did not like it when people dishonored his father. Sasuke could argue the same thing about his father and the clan, but in truth, aside from Itachi's mother, and from what he learned of Obito, Sasuke's family had already dishonored themselves. To Naruto they were all stuck-up pricks just like the one in front of him, so the bastard had not claimed to argue. "You know, Sasuke, I find that despite all of your so-called power you have absolutely no idea what it means to have or to be strong. I know it, Haku knows it, Gaara knows it, and of course Itachi knew it when he killed every single member of his clan. Well, almost everyone, though considering you're the runt of the litter I don't think you qualify," said Naruto, making Sasuke scowl, feeling the wind nipping at his end where the curse seal mark was once more slightly pulsing. "Damn you," said Sasuke, tired of hearing about people stronger than him with his brother's name added to the list, thus removing all thoughts and restraint in attacking. Sasuke went at Naruto, Sharingan, eyes filled with hatred and fury, trying to land either a combo of punch, kicks, and out off or both at Naruto. The boy being attacked either blocked or dodged like the attacks were nothing before kicking the Uchiha in the stomach, knocking him back a good 10 to 15 feet. "With your level of skill, Sasuke, you have no right to even consider Itachi your brother, or yourself an Avenger for that matter," said Naruto, folding his arms across his chest, clearly not impressed this was Sasuke's best work. Fire style, Dragon's Flame Jutsu, said, leaping into the air before taking a big breath of air and shooting it down upon Naruto. With a flare of chakra channeled to his hand, Naruto used it to manipulate the air around him to create wind and knock the flames away into mere smoke. "Is that the best effort you can put together? Surely you can do better," said Naruto, looking up at Sasuke, who was hanging in midair, frustrated that he had failed again to K him. "Just shut up and already so I can become stronger." "Chidori," said Sasuke, his curse seal starting to possess his body at a slow rate while he went through the hand signs and made the jutsu that made Kakashi famous through most of the shinobi world. "If that's how you want to play, then so be it. Wind style, Rasengan Drill Jutsu," said Naruto, scowling at the Uchiha, all the while forming the Rasengan in his one hand before handing wind into the mix, giving it a pointy end that made it look like a drill in his hand. Naruto leaped into the air while Sasuke headed straight for him, fully intent on killing the boy, who had been the bane of his existence ever since he came to the academy on the graduating day for his class. Just as the two were about to connect, Kakashi and Gaara showed up, with Gaara stopping Naruto while Kakashi deflected Sasuke's attack. "I thought we'd find you here, considering you are the only one who can make Sasuke generate such king intent," said Gaara to Naruto before he retracted his sand back into the gourd while Naruto himself disengaged his Rasengan drill type jutsu. "Sasuke, what did I tell you about that jutsu I taught you? You cannot and will not use it on a fellow leaf shinobi. That was not its intended purpose and is only supposed to be used as a last resort," said Kakashi, scolding the Uchiha, who curse seal mark had left before Kakashi could detect it. What does it matter? No one will care if he SS. You didn't care when you taught me the jutsu, fully knowing how it would be used once I learned it. Besides that puny jutsu he used to counter it would have been, said Sasuke, only to be slapped by the back of Kakashi's right hand. That jutsu Naruto used was a completed form of the fourth Hokage's prized technique known as the Rasengan. My jutsu, the Chidori, is a BA ranked jutsu. When you turn it form Chidori to Rakiri because of how it can K. The Rasengan when incomplete is already an A-ranked jutsu because when it is dispersed, it can shred an opponent to pieces rather than subbing them. What Naruto just used was a perfected Rasengan using wind as his element to make it complete. Had Naruto hit you with that, it would have gone through your Chidori, through your arm, and taken off your shoulder completely, thus CSP-ling you. For life, said Kakashi, as he now looked from Sasuke to Naruto before going back to Sasuke, who after a short time, snapped out of his shock at the information he was processing. Whatever, sensei. As far as I'm concerned, that loser was as good as S, and you came out of nowhere and stopped me from doing everyone in the village a great favor. I know how the villagers hate him even if I don't know why, but they obviously have their own reasons. Why not let me do my duty as a shinobi and just help the village out like I'm supposed to, said Sasuke, leaping off the hospital roof to take a long walk away from the three already on it. As Kakashi saw Sasuke head towards the park area of Konoha, he couldn't help but let out alongside how his first passing team was turning out to be such a failure. He's losing grip on his sanity and the team is slowly falling apart. How could it come to this? Said Kakashi, once more putting a hand where his Sharingan eye still was, knowing that tomorrow he was going under the knife to get a suitable, more natural eye, as that was the real reason he was here. You shouldn't have played favorite, Kakashi sensei. That was the reason behind my dad and Ero Sennin never showing favorites to anyone on the teams they trained. Well, now that I'm done my examination from the old hag, I have a date in 3 days with Hinata. Just as you have one with Sakura, right, Gaara? Said Naruto, seeing his red-haired friend blush a little at that, as he was nervous about taking her on dates as he was not used to it. Don't remind me, it's too embarrassing, said Gaara before he left with a twirl of his sand, while Naruto left seconds later in a similar fashion except with leaves. End flashback. Naruto knew dark storm clouds were on the horizon as Akatsuki would be on the move again soon while trying to capture the other tailed beasts. According to Slade, as far as he knew, the other demons had no more relation to his previous life than his vessel did. For Naruto, he didn't know whether to consider that a plus or in his favor, so he decided to let it hang around in the middle column for a little while. I better go and take Hinata on our date, said Naruto, heading to the meeting point that was near his favorite ramen stand. As Naruto headed towards his destination, he could help but picture what, in his mind, a date should be. The two would go on a little walk, they would talk, and go to a nice place to eat, not ramen since it was supposed to be a date. At the end of it all, they sat down on a park bench and watched things slow down from there before heading home. Naruto-kun, said Hinata, waving to him, wearing a nice sky blue out of silver mixed kimono that really showed off her figure while really making her look graceful all the same. I love my life, thought Naruto, finding his life was doing all right considering. Konoha Park hours later. I had a great time on our date, Naruto-kun. Unfortunately, I think Haku and the others are going to be jealous of us being so close like this, said Hinata, blushing up a storm while her head rested on his shoulder as the two sat on a bench watching time slow down in front of them. Things on the date Naruto had set up were going perfectly, as everything came out just as he had envisioned it. They walked around Konoha for a while in the less than hate-filled section of it before they went into a nice restaurant that happened to not mind Naruto. In fact, in the past they would have let him in no problem, but the citizens of Konoha were much more cruel back then and would have targeted others who supported the boy. Now things had lessened, allowing the restaurant to openly support the boy without people threatening them or destroying property. Yeah, that's why I want you to keep this a secret from the others. Each of the girls like you are going to get a date with me, and if you tell them that you were the first, it might break their hearts. That, and knowing Ino and Hana, they may become more hostile. Man, I'm glad our family is wealthy so I can afford all these dates with so many beautiful girls. You most of all, said Naruto, whispering the last part, as he didn't want to hurt the girls' feelings, seeing how he had made this date with Hinata a secret so the others would try to sabotage or spy on them. This was to be a special moment between them and all who interrupted it, would s. Unknown to the two lovebirds, 8 pairs of eyes were watching them. Now is the time to strike Itachi, and if things go bad we can grab the girl to use her as a bargaining chip, said Sasori, itching to grab the fox demon carrier. Itachi felt himself in a bind knowing he had to act the role of an S-class missing ninja even though technically it wasn't acting considering the secrecy of the mission. Kisame looked at his Uchiha partner and could see the invisible frown on the man's face trying to figure out if he should proceed or not. Itachi, said Kisame looking at his partner more when the man was silent for a good 5 minutes. Kisame and I will try to attack Naruto while you two try to grab the girl. However, she is to be kept alive in one piece. I don't want to face the wrath of the entire Hyuga clan. Even we cannot stop such fury that was once known as the blind death wave, said Itachi, making Deidara shudder knowing what that was term given when the entire Hyuga clan fought as one. Where will we have him meet us after we grab the girl? Said Sasori, wondering exactly what suitable spot would be perfect for this. We need a place that is far enough away from Konoha yet is within its border with a wide open space, said Itachi, thinking of the right spot to choose. Why not that place with the 2 statues of those 2 cages along that valley area? Said Kisame, only to receive an invisible elbow to the rib by Itachi, wising his partner would know when to shut the hell up. Unfortunately, it was too little too late. I know the place. It's called the Valley of the End. It's said to be the beginning of the end and the end to all beginnings. Even I don't know why it's called that, but regardless we will make that our spot. Move, said Itachi, hoping he didn't piss off the boy too much for his transgressions. At the same time, elsewhere is Konoha. Who does that no talent loser think he is? I'm an Uchiha. I am the instrument and the symbol of superiority, said Sasuke, as he was livid and nearly ready to go berserk with his curse seal constantly trying to break down the ad seal made by Kakashi during the Chunin exams. So why are you being as of an asshole and staying in this s-hole of a dump? Said a female voice that belonged to one of the Sound 5 known simply as Tayuya. Who are you? Said Sasuke, looking at the 5 ninja with Sound 4 head protectors on them, clearly indicating they worked for Orochimaru. We are the bodyguards of Orochimaru himself, simply known as the Sound 4, though right now we're temporarily known as the Sound 5 because of Mr. Albino here, said Saken, pointing Kimimaro, who scowled slightly before tuning back to face the Uchiha. So you're strong because you are with Orochimaru, huh? Just how strong are you? Said Sasuke, looking at the 5 members of the Sound 5. Show him Tayuya, said Akon, appearing out of his brother's body, scaring Sasuke for a moment, as he had never heard of such a thing. Alright, here it goes, eating woodpecking gay Uchiha, so pay attention, said Tayuya, using her curse seal stage 2, transforming into her demon-looking form before turning back to normal. And you got that from Orochimaru? Said Sasuke, believing that with this type of dark power he could KO Itachi easily. You've used your curse seal before in the beginning, right? When you used it you were on par with that Naruto kid, and he's at the very least as strong as your big brother, said Jirobo, knowing that those words were more than enough to bait the boy. Yeah, so combined with the curse seal and Orochimaru's training I could well surpass my brother, so I can K him. Where do I sign up to enlist? Said Sasuke, feeling the curse seal on his end pulsing with newfound life. Meet us tonight outside of Konoha's walls beyond the North Gate. We will be waiting there to take you to Orochimaru-sama at the rendezvous point by tomorrow afternoon, said Kimimaro before he long the others took off with several Junin in pursuit some 5 to 10 minutes later. Back in Konoha Park moments later. Naruto was beyond pissed at this moment. Here he was relaxing with one of many girls that he was to spend the rest of his life with, and just when things are going to end on a nice romantic level, 4 members of Akatsuki come out and attack. As Nara Shikamaru would say, troublesome. Though I told you, Itachi, I don't want to join your little organization, nor will I let you extract what's inside of me. If you know what's good for you, then you will leave me alone. Remember what I did to Kisame's back, said Naruto, putting Hinata behind him to protect her, knowing that as strong as she was, she could handle 4 S-class ninja. Even if 2 of them were on his side. Sorry brat, but Akatsuki doesn't give up that easily. Now hand yourself over or we'll take you by force, and if need be, take that sweet-looking Hyuga girl with us. I'm sure she will be useful. Entertainment, said Deidara, licking his lips, making Hinata shiver slightly at what the man meant. Or hell. Wrong choice of words, idiot, thought Kisame and Itachi, knowing from the rumors they heard about the boy that by making their target angry was signing one's own death warrant. Okay, I was going to be polite and only choke you with a handful of your organs, but as of right now, I'm going to hang you from them on top of the Hokage monument for all to see, said Naruto, getting into fighting stance knowing his swords were back home and he felt they weren't appropriate for a date. Let's begin, shall we? Said Deidara, moving into his own way of attacking by using his exploding clay, shooting one round after another using the mouths that are in the palms of his hands. Damn. Looks like the plan can't be saved, thought Itachi, hoping that the fight would be kept at a minimum of attention as he didn't want to alert the possible ninja in the area. Seeing this, Naruto moved right and Hinata moved left, only for the Hyuga girl to run into a puppet made by Sasori. My partner should handle your boyfriend easily, so taking you will be of little resistance, said Sasori, commanding his puppet in the shape of his mother to grab the girl. Hinata, not wanting to appear weak in the slightest, used her gentle fist style combined with her Byakugan to disconnect the chakra strings that the missing ninja used to instruct the puppet to move. You will find that, like Naruto-kun, I'm not an easy target either, said Hinata before she went through hand signs and created several water clone from an open nearby water fountain. So the girl knows water clones, huh? She must have an elemental affinity for water just like me, said Kisame off to the side while looking around once in a while for any leaf ninja that could be popping up at any moment. Kisame, you are part shark, of course you are going to have an affinity for water. Size, sometimes I feel you have the brain of shark to match your looks too, said Itachi, with the insult making the taller man grumble and say some things that should not be said in front of little children. Deidara, seeing his partner struggle with the Hyuga, changed tactics and instead of just throwing the bird sculpture he had made at Naruto, he threw it at the Hyuga girl with her back turned to him. Seeing how you can handle me, let's see if your girlfriend can, said Deidara, as the clay bomb flew at Hinata, who even with her bloodline was hard-pressed to counter it in some manner. Kaiten, said the original Hinata while her water clones fought the puppet user, spinning at great speed, protecting her from the explosion's powerful impact. The only problem with that counter was that it destroyed her nearby water clones despite the damage it did to the now semi-CS pled puppet. That, and when she was stopping her rotation, Itachi reluctantly gave the order to Kisame, who moved in to grab the Hyuga heir. Hinata, said Naruto, looking on, finding himself getting really angry. Nice grab, Kisame. You are finally good for something other than swinging that weird sword of yours, said Deidara before retreating back to Itachi with Sasori, only for the said puppet master to stop, finding an inhuman grip on his arm while the other was now dislocated and broken by a hard hit from an unseen leg. Before he could scream, his still good arm was twisted behind his back before he found a kunai was pressed into his en hard enough to draw blood instantly. Hey, blonde guy who looks like a chick, this is your partner in your organization, right? You talk about making deals, so I'll give you one right now. Hand me Hinata and I promise that I won't have to send this guy's remains back to you in a coffin the size of my pinky finger, said Naruto, knowing if he lost Hinata he would make sure Akatsuki would lose everything they had, starting with his hostage. It's no real s off my back if Sasori-sama gets ked brat, seeing how the one thing about Akatsuki members that remains the same is that they are all replaceable, said Deidara, not liking the guy who looks like a chick remark, but knew now was not the time to get angry about petty insults. Then his life has no value to him or me as a hostage, Akatsuki team, said Naruto, slicing the kunai along the man's T, deeply king the man in a slow manner. Deidara. Yo you, fo ol, said Sasori before collapsing in a pool of his own blood, just like his puppets. Like anything that is left for the future is a thing of eternal beauty. He got ked straight off, said Deidara, knowing he could go for the ring on his fallen partner's hand later, believing that the kid didn't realize the significance of it. If only he knew what the Itachi and the fourth discusses in his office before it was passed on to Naruto. You're next, said Naruto, surprising Deidara when he picked up the ring from Sasori's hand and igniting the fist of the mortal flame in his right hand, crushed and melted it right in front of them. You fool, don't you know how old that ring is? Said Deidara, knowing that without the partner ring to his own that was Sasori's, he was awfully screwed when he got back to face the leader of Akatsuki. I know enough. Now hand over Hinata-chan, or else, said Naruto, extending out his hand for them to give him the girl. Sorry Naruto, but our leader's orders are absolute. However, I am willing to make a deal with you in exchange for Hyuga girl's life, said Itachi, getting looks from both Deidara and Kisame. Itachi, we have to hurry, I sense a huge army of shinobi headed this way. Two of them are Sanin level and the other is Kohona's Yellow Flash, said Kisame, knowing that as good as Itachi was the father of the demon vessel made the weasel look like a genin fresh out of the academy. Then I'll make this quick. Naruto, meet us at the Valley of the End. In exchange for your surrender we will allow the girl to go free back to Kohono. What do you say? Said Itachi, seeing out of the corner of his eyes that the Hyuga girl was struggling with a scaly hand over mouth to get in a few choice words of her own. Naruto-kun, don't do it, said Hinata after biting into Kisame's hand, causing the shark man to yelp slightly in pain, and decided to take some soft bandages and gagged her mouth shut before keeping it there with her hand. Damn. This Hyuga girl has some teeth on her. You sure she's not part shark? Said a slightly in pain Kisame, still struggling. Taiyo contained the fury of this bound girl in both his arms. Well, see. I'll meet you at the Valley of the End tomorrow at 2 p.m. Didn't he be late like Hatake Kakashi? Said Naruto before looking at Hinata with eyes that said he was sorry before they puffed out of existence, with Kohono Leaf appearing moments later with his father out in front. Naruto, what's going on? What happened here? Said Arashi, only to see the sad and angry look in his eyes, knowing he may have to do something the older one didn't want to hear. We need to talk, in private, said Naruto, sighing, knowing he was going to hate telling them what he was going to do. Hokage Tower, Hokage's office. You are going to do what? Yelled Sun, with her voice echoing throughout the whole village, shaking several things along the ground, making several cracks in the process. I said I'm going to agree. Even if Itachi and Kisame decide to back Akatsuki when we make the deal and K the third member, it would make them a target for the rest of the organization. Whoever the leader is of the Akatsuki will no doubt make sure that those two are killed no matter what, to silence them forever. I'll play along for now until we get to the Valley of the End, and then after that we'll see what happens, said Naruto, knowing that if there was another way he would take it to keep the both spies under the leader's radar, but there wasn't one. I hate to admit it, but Naruto is right. Besides, it's better that they are drawn to Naruto instead of just going after Gaara, though from what you said, Naruto, you may just gotten Gaara off their target list. From the what Itachi showed me with his ring, was that they are used as conduits for channeling demonic chakra into their boss, thus making them stronger and to live long-lasting lives as the demons themselves, said Arashi, as he was remembering what Itachi had told him about the rings he and Kisame wore. So Sasori and his partner Deidara were supposed to go after Gaara's, which in this case was Terra, and they will be given her demonic chakra to enhance them and make them live longer along with the other members, said Naruto, concluding what had already been suspected for some time now by his father and Jiraiya. Yes, but the trick is, in order for this to work, you need both of the rings for each demon to be intact, or else the process is useless. Each ring holder per demon gets a certain part of the strength that comes from that tailed demon. The reason is because if it were one person getting it all, the demonic chakra, then it would overload and destroy their chakra coils, killing them in a massive explosion. Alright, I guess that will have to do, said Suin, knowing that when this day was over she would need to get stone cold drunk to make the headache go away. Just then an Anbu member came in looking slightly worried. Suin-sama, Rado, Genma, and Alba just engaged 5-sound ninja that created the barrier during the third part of Chunin exams when the Sandaime fought Orochimaru. They are badly injured and need you and Shizune-san to heal them quickly, said the Anbu while looking like he or possibly she was ready to collapse from exhaustion in trying to get to the tower. I want an Anbu team deployed along with the Inuzukas and the dogs to track the group to know of their location before I send in a larger force to take them, said Suin, motioning for the Anbu to leave. What do I tell Hiashi? He's not going to be happy that his daughter got KPED and under the watchful eyes of her future husband no less, said Arashi, knowing that a very angry Hyuga could spell doom even for him. Tell him Naruto will take care of it and to have faith in your son. Just remember, the first strike from the gentle fist is always the hardest when you face an angry Hyuga, said a mentally smiling Suin, though she herself cringed at the thought of facing such a fury. How could I forget? He nearly killed Sensei when he was caught peeking into the private hot springs of the Hyuga compound. He nearly castrated the super pervert, and it took all your skill to fix him back to normal, or at least what I assume is normal, said Arashi, looking at her questioningly, though she had a halo over her head. However, for all he knew soon it had put up a genjutsu to hide the devil horns she sometimes reveals when she does something evil. Kohono Nightfall Uchiha Estate. Sasuke had enough of this village he had been born and grown up in. He saw this place as a fat pig that had eaten far too much and was now so filled with overconfidence that they believed themselves to be invincible. Bunch of weaklings, who can't grasp the concept of what it means to be powerful and strong, said Sasuke, getting out his travel backpack he used during Wave to put stuff in. Oh, the irony. When the boy got home he packed his things into his backpack, seeing as how he intended to be his own person and not be held back by those who fear his potential. Those fools think they can slow me down. They fear the power the Uchiha represent, and while that fear is good, it's not enough, as it's fear of our memory as if we are extinct. As long as I draw breath, the most feared clan of people in all of Kohono and the world lives on, in me, thought Sasuke, leaving his house after locking it up and headed for the North Gate. Kohono not far from the North Gate. Sakura was by herself after spending such a great time with Gaara, seeing him smile, a true smile that made her blush more than she had when she liked Sasuke. She frowned at the name, knowing the Uchiha heartthrob had never liked her and always turned her down for dates, as Kiba had been beaten up for peeping in the women's bathrooms. Driving her mind back to Gaara, she felt that as the boy opened up more, he was slowly beginning to know what it meant to trust and open up to someone dear outside of family. She was saddened to hear him tell her how his father tried countless times to have him killed with the help of higher assassins. When she asked why, all Gaara could tell her was because his father considered him a failed experiment that needed to be eliminated. Hardly the loving father type, thought Sakura, with her inner Sakura nodding in full agreement before squeezing a plushy Gaara and telling it she loved him. After the date ended, a summoning bird appeared for him, meaning the female Hokage needed to talk to him. He bowed respectfully to the girl, saying, "I hope the next date is as wonderful as this one was." If possible, Sakura's hair had turned slightly red to match her face from blushing so much from that single statement. As she walked down the path, she found that she had bumped into none other than her old crush, that was Uchiha Sasuke. For a moment her heart betrayed Gaara and felt weakened by being near the last Uchiha loyal to Kohono. It immediately SD when she saw Sasuke with his travel backpack on, with it budging with various items, meaning he was headed somewhere. "Sasuke," said Sakura, wondering what was happening since it was too late to go on a mission with Kakashi and Naruto this deep into the night. "I'm leaving, Sakura. I can't be here anymore. It's filled with weaklings, who fear those greater than them and keep them down. I need to go and find a place where I can show the true strength of my clan that only I can do," said Sasuke, looking at her with his scowl plastered on his face. "Sasuke, please don't go. You're not weak here and no one holds you back. You remember what Kakashi-sensei told us, right? That there are people younger than, but stronger than even him. The same goes for the Uchiha clan as well, Sasuke, as there are clans and those that are not, that have skills that can be the Sharingan. No clan is perfect, Sasuke," said Sakura, who was on the verge of spilling a river of tears knowing she had to keep her former crush from leaving this place. "No clan is perfect. Is that what you just said? The Uchiha clan was perfect, Sakura, and it was only destroyed because of that perfection. I will see to it that the clan perfection lives on and to continue the legacy Itachi tried to ruin. Every person in Kohono is afraid of me and what my clan represents. You, Kakashi, the new Hokage, and even Naruto himself fears the power that is my strength, and it is for that reason that I must leave this place to see Orochimaru for power." "Sakura, I am sorry," said Sasuke before appearing behind her and knocking her out with a chop to the N. For a moment, he considered King her, but knew that if he did he could upset Gaara and would not have the power needed to beat him. "Only after I get the power I need from Orochimaru can I do that. And then Kazama Uzumaki Naruto. I will take your power, making me invincible," thought Sasuke before continuing to the North Gate. Konoha Kazama Estate. Early morning. Naruto couldn't get any sleep all night as he worried about Hinata and was unable to try and ignore a bad feeling in his gut that was going to happen to him or those that he loved. Everyone else at home could say it too when he came back, and they did not like the feeling either, including the girls, who noticed their love's frustration slightly covering his face. They hugged and told him it would be all right, but even then their words, though encouraging, were regrettably hollow. "Something's going to happen when I meet up with them and I'm not going to like it," thought Naruto while looking out the window alone in his bedroom, as he wished to be much to the sorrow of Haku and the others. It wasn't that he didn't mind, it had been some other time for such things until they were all together again. He would have consulted with Piccolo on it yesterday, but the old hag of a Hokage that was soon had decided to make use of his strength for a mission too, now 3 days ago. He was to help escort the lovely princess artifactress Yuki back home to Snow Country while she was shooting her next movie with her tragic heroine-like beauty. He wished the Namek well that day and a safe return while Slade and Kurenai went with him after requesting they assist in the movie crew's security and safety. By now they were on a ship to Snow Country and Slade had told him if anything came up that would require his assistance he should contact him right away via mental link. While Naruto considered doing just that, he felt he could do this himself. He wasn't an immature child and felt he had more experience in his life than most of the children his age involving something like this. I wonder if father felt like this when he was fighting during the Shinobi War. Thought Naruto before leaving his room, silently heading to the kitchen to make some awakening high-energetic herbal tea. Speaking of his father, Naruto had noticed that Suand had been pairing him and Shizune more and more together. At first, it was the simplest of things like helping her find files that we kept away or the need of references to find that only a few had access to. But now it was like she was playing matchmaker and quite frankly, he didn't like it. As Naruto sat on his stool sipping his tea, he scowled at a mental image of the old bat and wondered where she got off trying to play Cupid with the BS the size of people's heads. His father loved only his mother and no one more. Eventually his father would have to move on, that was a given, but not now. Even now, as a widower, Kazama Arashi was now considered the #1 top bachelor again in all of Konoha that every woman wanted. Putting his tea down and closing his eyes, Naruto entered his mindscape and walked over to the urn laying in its resting place with the picture of his mother above. Carefully he took the urn from its place on the soft pillow and held it in his hand, wondering what his mother would do if roles had been reversed. Would she move on? Would She, his own mother, get married to another man, making it into a possibly unloved marriage? No, she would never do that. Absurd. Unspeakable to hear outside of his mind or another's own tongue. Opening his eyes, he saw his mother's urn now in his right hand, smirking slightly at the wonders of moving things from one place to another. However, such things left him when he heard a knock at the door and put the urn away from view before going to answer it. Father's is still asleep from what I can tell, and from the rest of the Sinoras so is everyone else in the house. Must be a Mesanga ninja or something, thought Naruto before answering the door to find it to be like he guessed, a messenger ninja with a mask to conceal his identity from view. Why though? Naruto never understood. Naruto-sama, Ninja Bows, the Hokage has asked me to tell you to get dressed and then proceed to head to her office for an emergency meeting with her and the council. The meeting concerns one Uchiha Sasuke, said the ninja before he or she, Naruto couldn't tell, puffed away seconds later. Things just keep getting interesting, and not for the better, said Naruto with a semi-annoyed look on his face before shutting the door. Trouble, I take it, said Arashi in a white robe with flames on the sides nearly reaching his shoulder and around the arms. Yeah, I got to go. Some meeting with the old hag and the council conning Sasuke. I don't know who else will be at the meeting, but it can't be good, said Naruto heading upstairs to get changed, but just as he stood by his room ready to open it he felt smooth, delicate hands on his bare chest. You didn't sleep at all last night, said a whispered voice behind him that was more of a statement rather than a question. Something tells me you would have preferred that had I been with you. Haku-chan, said Naruto recognizing the voice and holding her hands with one of his, making her blush ever so slightly. Perhaps. However, considering you need rest to be a functional shinobi for what is to happen later today needs to take priority over my feelings. Hinata would surely agree with that, as well as the others if they knew what I do, said Haku, kissing his shoulder before snuggling into his end, pressing him further into her and away from the door. You're right, of course, but alas, it can't be helped. I have to see the Hokage and the council for an emergency meeting concerning the Uchiha, said Naruto, breathing in Haku's scent from her hair as she did with his. So he finally left the village. I knew it was only a matter of time. I told this as such to Sarutobi-sama and Suan-sama and told them to talk to the council about it, said Haku, having raised the question with the two leaders of the village on what to do about the now traitorous ninja. I doubt they wanted to hear of such heresy in their midst. They act as if they are gods when they are mere fish in a large ocean. Nonetheless, I must go. Tell the others when they awaken I'll be gone for a while and that I love them all, like I do you, said Naruto, as he turned his head to face her and kiss her, which she embraced with great gusto. After the kiss Haku could only nod as the two left the embrace before Naruto entered the room to get changed into battle-ready form. There was a flash that came from his room and Haku knew he used that technique to head to the Hokage's meeting place in the tower. Downstairs in the kitchen Arashi held his wife's urn with a worried look bouncing off the urn's reflection back at him. For a moment, he almost thought he saw his wife's reflection next his with the same worriness that he was feeling about this whole. We're in for one wild day, said Arashi in a whisper before taking the urn with him upstairs to a room befitting his late wife's mobile resting place. Kohono Hokage Tower Emergency Meeting Room. Naruto entered the room finding himself surprisingly the only one in this room that had to face Suin and the old fools on the council. Hiashi, who Suin filled with calming sedatives was excluded of course from such names, but due to his change in attitude towards him the man had lost a good chunk of political strength. Where is everyone else and what this about Uchiha Sasuke leaving? Said Naruto shocking some of the council members while Tsunade felt the boy would figure it out whether he was told or not. How did you find out, boy? Said one of the council members with his eyes as hate-filled as he had lost teeth and boy did the old man have very little teeth. It wasn't hard to figure out considering the it's about Sasuke, that this is an emergency meeting about Sasuke, and there is the fact that one Uchiha Sasuke is power-hungry crazy enough to betray the village to Kei his older brother. Even an 8-year-old could see what this meeting is about. Now why am I here and no one else? Said Naruto looking at the members of the council seeing most of them snarl or gnash their teeth as if to try and intimidate him. They were failing miserably. Mind your tongue demon. You are here for a special assignment that only you can do given you unnatural condition, said Danzo looking at the boy wearing his Chunin vest along with all black shinobi pants and matching in color helmet with a bandage over his now closed Jagan eye. It didn't take the man, who formed route to notice the bandaged on both his arms were now slightly thicker with seal marks on them. Why does he have them like that on him? I wonder, thought Danzo, but pushed it out of his head for later, as he had more pressing matters to attend to. I take it I'm retrieving the traitorous bastard. No doubt to preserve the, all great, Uchiha bloodline right. Said Naruto folding his bandaged arms making his pointed arm braces stick out to give himself a more terrifying appearance. Correct Naruto-san. The objective is to retrieve Sasuke from where we determined is ironically the Valley of the End. They haven't reached it yet so you have to get to him before he gets there and over the border to Rice Country where Sound will be, and Orochimaru. Your orders are to either retrieve the Uchiha or to Kei him if and should he resist, said Tsunade much to the uproar of most of the council. Kei him. Hokage-sama that is outrageous. To keep the Uchiha bloodline forever within Kohono the mission must be to only retrieve the Uchiha. Unharmed to be more precise. The last thing we need is a CS-pled prodigy, especially, considering the demon's little history of wanting to see SPLE prodigies in the past. I don't think I need to remind any of you of what he promised to do to Neji during the Chunin exams, said another council member that was Inuzuka-chum, who was to the right of Danzo glaring at the boy, as in hopes her the power behind it would make the boy explode in a horrible manner. If only such things were possible, then Naruto would see to it that all of Kohono was nothing, but a crater waiting to be rebuilt. First, Neji at the time deserved it. Second, don't go all righteous on me with your, Leaf Ninja don't K Leaf Ninja, bulls. Had it been someone you cared for Chum-san like Kiba or even Hana and was a victim of pointless clan nonsense then you would have no doubt done the same. Third, I never carried it out because my future wife-to-be that is one Lady Hinata had me promise not to. You should be so fortunate that Kohono is blessed with such a pure soul among that of sinners and hypocritics, said Naruto making Chum growl at him before mumbling something she thought he couldn't hear. Damn demon filth, said Chum in a whisper in her dog tongue mentally smirking knowing as long as it wasn't said in human tongue he couldn't say anything. Better to be demon filth than some stuck-up dog of AB like you. At least Hana got over hating me when you told her what was inside me or rather, what you said I was, said Naruto seeing Chum's shocked face knowing he had surprised her. Inuzuka you and I need to have a private talk after this. You better go Naruto there is no telling how far Sasuke has gotten, said Suin knowing that was all she needed to try and motivate the young Chunin. What about Hinata? I can't leave her with Itachi and the others. I need a team that I can command that will allow me to do two things at once. I need Shikamaru as my second in command for his strategy-like skills, the new Kohono siblings, Temari, Kankuro, and Gara as an ambush unit, Rock Lee for extra strength, Hyuga Neji for scouting, and Inuzuka Kiba for further tracking, said Naruto, knowing with this pretty heady group they could handle it. Out of the question. I'm not sending my son to aid this demon abomination, and I say to hell with the third's law, said Inuzuka Swain, who was downright furious at her son be taken for this mission. Anbu, take Inuzuka under arrest and take her to Ribiki and Anko. Tell them she broke that law and will be punished accordingly, said Tsunade, before the Anbu took the clearly beyond angry Inuzuka away. I take it I have my team, said Naruto, knowing fully well what the answer was. You do. Meeting dismissed, said Tsunade, looking at the other members of the council, seeing some of them either glaring at the retreating form of Naruto or slightly at her. The only one who was Hiashi, who she realized had on a genjutsu to conceal his own fatigue in this matter. Do you really believe he can win Hokage-sama? I've already lost my brother and wife. I can't bear lose either of my daughters, said Hiashi when the other members had left the room, leaving the two alone in the room. If there is one power that Naruto has more skill in than any other, is to make people believe in something again. You know that Naruto loves Hinata more than his own life, Hiashi. If anyone should be worried, it's the people who tried to take her from him and you. Elsewhere in Kohono, a secret meeting place. This is absurd. Tsunade-sama is obviously being put under a spell by that demon. How can we K him when so many people support him that can easily overpower us? Said a tired-looking council member, not wanting to rest just yet from the lack of strength in his aging body. Don't worry, my friend. From what I was informed of before the meeting is that the boy will be in for a long and painful fight that will be able to severely weaken him. When that happens, our secret weapon will strike him when he least expects it, and when that event happens, well, let's just say the fifth Hokage is about to have a very short reign over Kohono, said Danzo, smiling, knowing that his plan was perfect. Despite the lost tomb on the council, she could always be replaced with her son should he decide to join him if he offered. Valley of the End. To say that Itachi, Kisame, and Deidara were surprised was an understatement, as they saw the small army of Sound and formerly that of Sand Shinobi all around their chosen destination. Keep the girl hidden, Kisame. I don't want the Sannin to get any ideas about using her, said Itachi, who got a nod from his shark-like companion, concealing the girl under his black-red cloud robes. Itachi used a sleep genjutsu on her after they left Kohono, and while Deidara suggests that they take the girl to Cloud for dissection or potential breeding of the bloodline there. Of course Itachi wouldn't hear of it, explaining to him that if they did that, then it would give an already angry Kyuubi vessel more than enough motive to do what the fourth did to Rock and basically turn the hidden village into AS house, with its ninja being the cattle. Only then, and after a rather venomous glare from the Uchiha, did Deidara decide to keep his mouth shut. So what brings the infamous Akatsuki to this place? Come here to K me, I take it, said Orochimaru, as the small group of three entered the area casually before facing the Snake Sannin. No, actually we're not. We're here on business involving one Kazama Uzumaki Naruto, for reasons you obviously know of, said Itachi, knowing that if things were different right now he would K the man before him. Really? Sir, am I? What are the odds? Though I do imagine that you will want the brat to be alive at the moment rather than for what I have been planning, said Orochimaru, as Kabuto came to his side, whispering something into his ear before looking at the shark of the group, who bared his fangs at the medical sound ninja. You can't beat the boy, Orochimaru. Even with Kabuto by your side utilizing his own curse seal level 2 mark and any if not all of your other second-rate Junin that you bring with you, said Itachi, wondering what the man next to the Sannin was whispering. True, but that is if I face the boy head-on. Why try to fight him when he's at full strength when I can weaken him to a point where he is beatable and can be slain by someone such as myself, said Orochimaru, smiling his sickening smirk that made Itachi just want to K the man right then and there. What makes you think you can bring Naruto into such a trap when you have nothing of value to do that with? Said Itachi, narrowing his eyes at the snake and activating his Sharingan at the man. Simple, Itachi-kun. I have your little brother coming this way to join me while my sound 5 easy, but still difficult to leave behind breadcrumbs for the son of Arashi to follow, said Orochimaru, making Itachi's eyes wide slightly in shock at this news. He's brining Sasuke here. Damn it, this isn't good, thought Itachi, knowing if Sasuke saw him now then he would try to attack and could cause further problems to the plan he had intended to set in motion. The Sannin and his ninja army had thrown a Monkey King-size wrench into his plans. Oh, and in case you were wondering, Kabuto earlier just informed me that my scouts have spotted Naruto heading this way with quite a potent ninja team. I'm sure the traps I have for them will keep them all very much entertained. The final components to my plan get here, said Orochimaru, smiling even more sinister, making even Kisame and Deidara a little nervous. It's times like this I should have become a sculptor rather than a ninja like Mom said I should have, thought Deidara, wondering what these seals the sound ninja were making all around this place were supposed to be. 15 minutes later, in the forest heading towards the Valley of the End. Have any of you guys ever been to this place before? Said Naruto, wondering if they had ever traveled with their senseis to this area for any missions outside the village. The demon vessel had already explained to them what happened to Hinata and her being grabbed by the members of Akatsuki. It took Neji and Lee to hold back Kiba, who didn't hesitate to blame Naruto for not protecting her like he should have. His ranting continued for another minute before Temari got angry and said her fan over his skull before she told him to shut his face. Though Kiba didn't say anything else negative after that, his eyes told volumes of just how much he was hating Naruto right now. A hatred that was slowly consuming his heart and clouding his own judgment about what was fact from fictional paranoid fear. I don't know how, Kazama, but I will get you for letting Hinata get KPED. Maybe Mom was right, maybe you are the nine-tailed fox. Unfortunately, for now all I can do is wait and see what happens next on this mission, thought Kiba before he shut such words from his head, knowing they could wait for later as the mission was more important at the moment. No, I don't think so. Our missions as genin are always to be around areas that were to be considered neutral or friendly, classified places to help develop out training while getting used to travel, said Neji, knowing that taking a genin team to a less than hospitable place that hated leaf ninjas was not something that he or his sensei would do. Even Guy had some mental sense on the subject. And more importantly, so did Cloud and Rock. Gaara, what about you? I know you traveled to Sound at least once with, well, you know who, said Naruto, not wanting to bring the other demon vessel's bastard of a father back into the light. I heard Orochimaru talk about it once during my last visit with him when they talked of the possible Sound out of Sand's secret alliance treaty. The Sannin said it involved him and the Toad Mountain hermit Jiraiya years ago when he defected from Konoha. However, I believe there is more to it than that, seeing how the Sannin kept the subject about him and not that of the deeper history that place represents, said Gaara, knowing that when his Kazekage wanted to go deeper, Orochimaru cut him off instantly, saying it was not important or relevant to the conversation. Obviously something happened at that location to make it a prime spot for Orochimaru to make it a meeting point before going to Sound. Regardless, we need to hurry to catch up to Sasuke so we can finish the mission faster so I can rescue Hinata from Akatsuki, said Naruto, ignoring the increasing spike of intent from Kiba, whose hatred of Naruto continued to grow. This is bad. Kiba's hatred towards Naruto for getting Hinata to fall in love with him as well as her caping is reaching some troublesome and dangerous levels. My brain is already telling me that much from his face alone and the sweat from his forehead already there is enough to determine that as things are now he may become severely hostile. If Naruto is ever to have a moment of a weakened state, then Kiba just might, thought a worried Shikamaru, knowing he should stick close to the dog user as much as possible to restrain him should it come to such a thing. Kiba-san, lower your intent or you'll give away our position, said Lee in a small whisper, knowing that if the intent got high enough the plan to stop the Uchiha and rescue Hinata would fail outright. Too late, leaf ninjas, said a voice above them as a small army of Sound and former Sand ninja came at them, each with an evil purple aura around them like when Sasuke had his curse seal activated. Said Naruto, drawing his sword from his waist and looked quickly at his weapon summoned scroll Tenten had given him to see if it was still there. He would have to give her an extra long kiss for that, and somewhere in his mind, Naruto suspected both Tenten and Dragona, who was laughing to herself about this, knew it too. At the moment, the Valley of the End. Tell me, Sannin, why are you so interested in my little brother? I mean, besides the fact that you want the Uchiha clan bloodline, of course, for your obvious reasons, said Itachi, looking impassive, but felt slightly uneasy around Orochimaru nonetheless. Very perceptive as usual, Itachi-kun. As you know, there are 9 great demon lords that have been recorded throughout history. The one-tailed raccoon, the two-tailed cat, the four-tailed wolf, the six-tailed dog, and of course my personal favorite, the 8-headed hydra basilisk king snake that was said to be second only to the Kyuubi. Most of the demons are either sealed or being captured by Akatsuki, but no one knows what happened to the king snake, do they? Not even the Akatsuki leader himself themselves knows just where the great basilisk is. However, being a former Akatsuki member myself as well as a fellow snake, I just so happen to know where the beast is, said Orochimaru with a glint in his yellow snake-like eyes that made Itachi's fingers reach for the hilt of his Uchiha clan sword hidden beyond his robes. Are you saying these seals you've been making are to summon the creature here? Said Itachi, as he carefully calculated his chances of killing the Sannin with Kabuto beside still him. In a manner of speaking, yes. The basilisk, like the Kyuubi, was sealed in a newborn child that happened outside of Leaf Village. After that it was decided that the demon vessel like the Kyuubi's later on would reside in Konoha. To protect our investment it was sealed in secret, unknown to anyone in the village, seeing as it was supposed to be the clan's secret weapon when the moment was right. However, since the basilisk is such a crafty creature, in order to use its powers after the child grows to a certain age that it can adapt, it required another seal be added to the vessel later on. After that was done and a few certain pawns are then set in place, along with a strong amount of demonic chakra from an outside source to ignite the seals designed around here, then, well, as they say, it's self-explanatory. I doubt I even have to tell you just who contains the basilisks within them, said Orochimaru, smiling even more, as Itachi came to the terrible conclusion as to who was the snake vessel. Sasuke. Sasuke is the vessel of the basilisk snake demon lord, said Itachi in a small whisper that the Sannin in front of him heard regardless. Yes, your father decided to do it while you were on a mission, as you were too young to be considered trustworthy to know about such things. Danzo, myself, and the infamous Akatsuki leader assisted him the sealing using Fugaku's designed seal combined with my own version interlacing, making sure that little Sasuke-kun had no contact with the basilisk or was changed by it in any way until the phase that I am setting up now takes place. In the beginning, Sasuke was going to become a prized weapon of Konoha when Danzo started his takeover down the road when the fourth least expected it. When he had succeeded, Danzo would make the announcement that Konoha was going to change for the better to rule over all the lands to keep the peace everywhere, but in order for it to happen they would need to start a war with the other villages, said Orochimaru, putting the pieces of the plan together for Itachi to figure out. All of course except Sound, who would, to show that it was no threat to Konoha, would become its newest ally. Then of course the new Konoha, with those still loyal to the ways of Sarutobi and Arashi-sensei, would be removed from the picture by soon being imprisoned, enslaved, and experimented on, said Itachi, scowling at the Sannin, trying to keep himself under control at the moment, for he was very tempted to kill the monster in front of him. If only things had gone according to plan, size, what future test subjects I could have had. However, as such good things were happening nicely, shortly after we did this sealing, that also goody-goody Kazama Arashi became suspicious of us, and I knew that something had to be done, but even I, Fugakao, and Danzo combined could not hope to beat him. What a surprise it was that I received an audience with the leader of Akatsuki, who came to offer me a position among its top members for my interesting forms and my sealing designs. All the time he told me of a certain nine-tailed demon lord that was heading to Konoha and could be the key to my plan to stop Yondaime from finding out more about what we did. After telling me his plan, the leader gave the hand signs to do the genjutsu I used and needed to make the demon fox unstable. The only drawback was I was injured and had to use my imperfected immortality jutsu before it could be completed, said Orochimaru, seeing Itachi's eyes widen even more in surprise, as he did not know that to be true. Crap. I knew we were in a bind before, but this. I can't go back to Konoha as I would have to fight Orochimaru, and while I could K him it could be risky. It would be quicker if I get to Kabuto first, though it could leave problems later if these guys are truly loyal to Orochimaru and attack should I be able to K them both, thought Itachi, doing a small calculation in his head of his and Kisam's chances for survival. The odds came out 35 out of 65 percentage-wise going against him. He would have factored Deidara, now looking nervous, into the equation, but Itachi had KNWN that the clay explosive making ninja was going to S whether he stayed or not. The leader of Akatsuki would most likely not take the loss of one of the ancient rings with great enthusiasm. Just as Deidara had said earlier, Akatsuki members could be replaced, and if Itachi or Kisame weren't careful, so would they, and Konoha would not last if they did. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.